Well, how's it going there, guys? It's Krusty Old Crow coming in on a Sunday night. You guys will probably see this video sometime Monday night or Tuesday. Just working on Destro's Castle, which has come a long way since I last posted my videos about it. I did drop a couple of pics here and there on the site, but just to show that there has been progress, but I've come a long way with it. So this is the second video, part one. If you're looking for where part one is, it actually starts with Jada Street Fighter fire escape and includes Destro's Silent Castle part one there. This is part two, and in part two I'm going to get into what I'm using, where I got the stuff that I'm using, why I chose to do what I did with this castle, and where my head was at when I was picturing how to break down a dollhouse from the, I think it was LLL or Barbie line, maybe even Monster High. I have no idea. It was something I picked up at a thrift store, and I felt like I could do something like a castle with it. And when I realized that I'd seen videos on, videos and heard a lot of buzz about Mindbender and Zartan and, all these different ideas. The Joe Pit was one I wanted to try, but then I saw that the 3D printed headquarters. I was like, I'd rather do that, but I had never seen a Destro's Castle, and that's why I decided this is the one I was going to do. The other reason, guys, is selfishly, I used to do a lot of game terrain for a tabletop game called Warhammer 40K, which, being Sunday night, if you guys happen to see this, you can go back and see I was a guest on Wraith Base's show talking about that this past Sunday. But I used to do a lot of tabletop game terrain of ruined buildings and whatnot, and I really enjoyed how relaxing it is to do stonework. So I'm going to show you how I went about that with this castle, along with the wood and how I laid everything out. But like I said, I'm going to show you also how cheap it all was to do. This thing cost me pennies to do by comparison to, say, 3D printing or buying a third party, as great as they are, manufactured set. This gave me a lot of relaxation, and it was therapeutic to do. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. You'll, spend the next little while hearing me narrate over certain parts, maybe have lulls here and there. But most importantly, I also got to remind you, this video will tell you the magic words you need for the live coming up this Saturday, February 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern, where I will be giving away some thank you prizes for having reached now 500, going on 600, long overdue, but we're going to be doing that this Saturday. So watch for this, watch to the end of the video, and we'll go over how you can enter and win that. But of course, you will have to be subscribed, and I do appreciate it if you like this video, but it's not an entry requirement. It just will help. But like I said, you'll need to know what the magic words will be on the day of the draw. So, all right, let's get into Destro's Castle, and I'll show you some stuff that I did since the last time we've dealt with this. All right, see you in a minute. So to summarize what was included in part one of the video, this is a dollhouse I picked up at a Value Village here in Ottawa for about $14-15. Large scale, very solid pressed wood build, like an IKEA shelf for a toy. This thing was very solid, and that's the very top level. And yeah, I'm just showing you just kind of all these images of how it was laid out and what I had to work with. It had a sliding elevator, a disco ball, which I've still saved and put aside. I didn't care what was printed on the walls. The walls were all flat, and I knew how I could approach this using a sectional method of building components and then covering walls sectionally, pieces at a time, then floors, then ceiling and lighting, and then detailing. And so already, before I'd even paid for this thing, I saw the plan. I just had to decide what I was going to do with it. So I decided the castle would be the easiest thing based off things that I had done in the past. You know, it's not the highest detail work, but it's passable enough that it's appealing to the eye. And what I find about grays and darks with dark grays and browns is that colors really pop out. This thing had a spiral staircase that worked, and I hardly ever see these things with spiral staircases that were sturdy. This reminds me, I've got to do a barbecue video on the one that I picked up at Christmas. But nonetheless, this thing had enough features. Never mind, it didn't have a door for that room. The functioning elevator was a great selling feature on it, but it had a lot of space for me to display a lot of figures on single levels, and it was triple stacked. Now, as far as the bottom drawer, which you can only just see in the corner here, that I have not approached yet, but I do have a plan. And you will see what it looks like out and why I've saved it to the end. As same with the helipad, which seems to be everybody what was saying, are you going to put your dragonfly on that? Well, yeah, I'm going to do a couple things with that. And you're going to see what I did with it so far at the end of the video, because even as I'm making this video, I'm working on this thing right now. And there are things that were complete after I shot most of this. So there you go, some more looks. You've got these little window ports, which I didn't really manipulate well. I didn't care for them too much. The key is, how am I going to cover up the blue exterior? It's going to be the same way. I'm going to approach it sectionally in part 3. There you have that flat back, which I could add detail if I wanted a 3-dimensional, like a fully 360 thing, but I don't really. That's going to be against a wall, so that's the last priority I have. And that's probably just going to make support for something standing like a night sky die or something for that. And nonetheless, there's the drawer pulled out. You can see they had these die-cut inserts of heart pools and puppy pounds and whatever they were. I've found a way to deal with it. I'll deal with it later. It's comical to me. I'll explain it later, but right now what I'll explain is what I'm using here. So we're at the part of the video where I'm going to tell you what I'm using to make Destro's Silent Castle, what kind of materials and where I'm getting them, and moreover, how cheap it is. In no particular order, here's what we're working with. All right, you're going to want some paper towel. If you're like me, you're going to make a mess when you get to glue in paints and mess everything up. Paper towel, that's pretty obvious. This is polystyrene insulation. A sheet of this, about the size of your, about 2 feet longer than any back door of your car, backseat area. You know, they're about 6-foot sheets and about 1.5 to 2 inches. They come in various widths. I go with the 1.5 inches. It's about $40 Canadian to get a sheet of this, and this will last me forever. This gets it all done, but this is what I'm cutting all my brickwork out of, and it's easy to cut, nice and hard. Workable, does not work with aerosol based paints. You will disintegrate this with any kind of acidic paint, chemical. Just acrylic based paints is all I use on those. Acrylic based glue, and that'll protect it from being sprayed later. It won't disintegrate if you have a layer between this and any aerosol, really. Good healthy layer over that, and it'll keep it from disintegrating. So yeah, I've learned to use this. I use this a lot with game table terrain as well. So about $40. This is probably the most expensive thing that that you need specifically for a project like this outside of your hobby supplies, which hopefully you already have a lot of that. So we'll talk about that. Lots and lots and lots of scrap wood is what I've done. In fact, this camera is sitting on my bigger pile of scrap wood, but if I were to go over there under the paper towel, you can see I've got more scrap wood set aside and things like that. But scrap wood from wherever you can get it. The dollar store is a great resource for some shapes and pre-assembled pieces and things like that. And then Michael's, Rona Home Hardware, and others for the dowlings and things like that. Balsa wood is also good. I've used a bit of balsa wood in this to get quick cuts for small pieces that aren't going to be touched or carrying weight. But these, you know, each dowling that I went through was probably 79 cents. These come in bundles of 5 or 6 for $1. This here was $1.50, and I think I'm using 2 of these. You'll see where later. What else do you need? Well, it would be handy if you want to have lights in it and you're not a big RC guy that, you know, really does wiring well, and you're just kind of hacking your way through this. You can't go wrong with a dollar store set of string LED lights. They do cast a bit of an illumination, enough so that you could notice it. For example, this is the kind of illumination you get with those lights, and it's workable for a small temporary project like this. So about $1.25 Canadian for 20 of those, and you know, you can get them in different lengths, different colors. Having a vice clamp that you picked up somewhere couldn't hurt. It's not a must-have, but it sure made things easier for me. Dollar store paints, mixed up, put on, do whatever. It's about $1 a paint. It's as many as you want for this. They work well for really big base coatings. When you're going to go through a lot of paint doing something like that, I went through a lot of black and white to make the gray. Yeah, stock up on paints, black and white, especially for me. Get those out there. But when I get into, you know, higher detail stuff or things that need actual more color for detail, that's where I go into my old model collection. These are about $5 a tube, so it's not cheap to use these. It's cheap to use these, but these will bring out better colors on the things that you care about, the details that you want people paying attention to. The dollar store paints is good for getting the bulk of the job done, that nobody's really looking for, you know, texture paint for it, you know, stonework, for example. Mixing cups, you can use them from home. This was my wife's favorite mug. No, I'm kidding. A lot of disposable desserts that you buy at Costco come in glass that you don't know what to do with. They make wonderful little painting mixing cups, but if not, you can go for a dollar store Dixie cup find. Plastic card sleeves, you guys have heard me talk about these in other videos. These are great for using as window transparencies. You know, a bundle of these might run you $5 or $6 at a local card store, but you get fake glass, right? So I had a lot of those left over. It's a lot of leftover parts that I didn't actually pay for, or like for this project, and just letting you know kind of where you can get them. Bunch of dollar store pens. Okay, a little saw, like a jeweler's saw or something, goes a long way for cutting down some of the wood and timber pieces that you've seen me cut for this. I don't use it for the polystyrene, there's no need, but you definitely need some sort of small fine saw. I don't know, what, $6 if you don't already have one. There's more of that wood that you see me using. It's because I want to paint this piece later to stick up on the model. Paint brushes, of course, you're going to need a variety of widths and whatnot, and some that you just don't care whatever happens to them when you're done, because you will go through a lot of base coating and that'll write off a few brushes. Okay, you're going to want some scissors, and you're going to want some cardboard. And the reason I say scissors and cardboard, whatever you can get, is because I do everything I'm doing in a lot of modular pre-sized pieces, and because I didn't build this castle, it came to me pre-assembled. It's hard to do accurate measurings in corners and things like that with polystyrene and wood, you know, measure twice, cut once kind of thing. But I find if I've pre-mapped it on cardboard and glue everything to that cardboard, it actually makes it easier to stick things to walls and everything. So I do everything sectionally. Cardboard's a great thing to have, so you'll want scissors. Wood glue. Definitely want some wood glue. I'm using Gorilla wood glue. This is about $10 a bottle at Walmart. I went through one whole bottle on this and a couple of other projects. So this is my second bottle I've gone through, as I'm going into part 3 soon of this video, which is the exterior. And of course, a glue gun and glue inserts from the dollar store. So $4, $2 for a bag. I've gone through probably 5 or 6 bags. So glue is really where I'm spending most of my money, guys. Glue. You're going to want little containers, wherever you can find them, to get your cut down pieces of polystyrene. If you're doing brickwork, you're going to make a lot. It's, as you've seen in the videos, it doesn't take long to make a lot of the bricks, and it's therapeutic to lay them, but they get everywhere. So you're going to want some big containers to store all that. And beyond that, maybe some X-Acto blades and anything you see that was picked, you know, when you're shopping around a dollar store, you can find a lot of good little materials to use, you know, certain felts and fabrics if you need them. Always have some of this stuff lying around, although I don't use it much. The one that I did find was fake tiles at the dollar store for backsplashes for kitchens and bathrooms. They've come in handy as I've used them here, and same as rubber garage matting or placemats, stuff like this that you can get at the dollar store dirt cheap, also used in this to some avail. So that's essentially kind of just the stuff I've gone through, guys. You can see Destro's just itching to get back to his chair. I don't blame him. That doesn't look comfortable. And oh, I left the sort on there, knickknacks from any other thing that you think would look cool. You know, this is the kind of project where maybe that's what you were saving them for, because they're certainly not doing anything sitting in a bits box, right? A sword like that I thought was amazing. I didn't want to ever lose it, but it sat in a bits box for over a year, and now finally I have a place and a reason for it. It makes sense in a castle for Destro. So that's the materials list. Let's get on to what I've done. So before I let Destro give us a room-by-room tour before and after shots and all that, we got to mention the like, share, subscribe. If you enjoy these kind of videos, my custom stuff or my reviews, guys, you know I could really use that stuff for the algorithm, and I always welcome new subscribers. And like I said, this Saturday, I've got to give a thank you for all the subscribers I have. Thanks very much. Got to mention it, got to get it out of the way, and don't forget to get those notification bells. There, we're done with that. With that out of the way, as it said in the subtitles, we're at the ground floor, the bottom room, the biggest room, which will probably get a structural support ad put in there at some point. But I've got the catacomb, entrance there that I threw in there, the wall of fallen heads. You can see a little bit of the LOL background, so I'm going to be putting patchwork in there to cover up those little areas there, right? So that you won't see it, but some of the ceiling tile is actually more of that fake backsplash stuff that you can find at a dollar store. It's the same backsplash stuff that I use in the bat room later. Same as that silver titanium looking stuff. There you go. Yeah, and so this would be a grand entrance into the throne room. I figure it's got a lot of space for the figures, probably about 5 or 6 figures just in the left part of it. And as we pan up, you can see those ceiling tiles you were watching me put together with the Gorilla Glue and the popsicle sticks, quick paint, glue them up there. That's maybe what you need the C-clamps for, I found. I inserted the throne. It's now glued in there. Some more marble tile backsplash. Now, the brick tile stuff that you see at the bottom left is actually from a model shop, and that's about $6 a sheet. So I used that a couple times, so the cost does add up, but I was really enjoying myself. Now, none of those heads are actually permanently glued in. It's just a little dab of hot glue that can be knocked off and peeled off easily if I ever wanted to change my Night Creeper's head. Here I'm using a magnet to hide a little fake panel where I'm controlling the lights for Destro's throne there. These dollar store red lights, I've tucked them in and worked them into the whole assembly. I also have a secret compartment for a much larger little Halloween light. Now I'm going to replace that with a single type of light, but this one doesn't do anything but pulse like a disco. So I threw it in there. When I'm ready to bring out that disco ball that I've salvaged off this level and have not yet used, I think that light will go with it. But there you go, Destro sitting on his throne made of wire and foam. So we're going to move on. He's going to take us upstairs now, and we're going to have a look at the second floor. And what's the point of having a high-tech castle if you don't have an elevator of some sort? So let's just jam him in there. Go, Destro, go! And we'll wedge him in as peacefully as we can and follow him up as he takes us up from the bottom floor to the second floor. Any second now. Really don't know this video well. There we go. Push, push, push. Now, it's not the smoothest thing, but it's in there pretty secure. And like I said, I'm going to have to cover up the other parts there. And he'll step out and have a look at this exposed second floor. We'll look at it here. There you go. We got 2 rooms to deal with. A spiral staircase in the first room, which was an obstacle for putting in flooring. And this is where we ended up with basically his throne room. And there is the tiger head and some lineage. Yeah, one thing's lopsided. These Destro masks and tiger masks, I'm going to throw the images up right now of just kind of how they were made as we go. And these little details I don't add into the cost of things because these are really just bit stumps. I'm using some extra brass sheeting I had from old hobbies and green stuff and pieces of characters I've torn apart and all the kit and caboodle that I didn't need anymore to make that stuff. So I don't really count that as cost, but I mean green stuff is about, I don't know, $20 for a good sheet of it. There we've got more of the wood tile stuff, and you can see more of the marble tile stuff there, just to try and get a ceiling in there, cover up the LOL ceiling. But this is a throne room. I'm not big on the candles, but there I'm thinking of ways to cover them up. Maybe a stone banner across that. It was just something to try and make it look like a lineage, because somebody in the comments had asked about doing the Destro's family clan. So I thought, yeah, maybe I'll just have different Destros over the eras represented by their masks and their swords hanging on this wall, and the tiger head being a nod to, maybe he's fucked with Tiger Force before, I don't know. But those candles are actually just cut up pen pieces, the interior of empty pen tubes, and I've jammed a little light in there. There's a bit shield. There's nothing written in the scripture. I've just used little burnt pieces of paper and whatnot, waiting for the camera to come into focus. And yeah, those candles have a little switch behind the curtain they're over. There we go. And that will turn them on, and you'll see them illuminated in other parts of the videos, I'm sure, and whatnot. And this is the door that wouldn't open to get us into the second room that we're going to look at later, which I call the bat room, really, the black room. But yeah, underneath that piece of red tarp is the lights. This piece of snake hide leather was something I picked up on clearance at Michael's, but there's another sheet of that hobby brick, right, that I have the choice if I wanted to use this fake leather or real leather, I guess, I don't know, ever again, but I thought it was a nice covering feature for it, lend some taste to the room. So the support banners only help to hold that structure. So now not banner, Destro's gonna have a little knocky knock there at that door there, the one that will never open, and I've tried to make that look like a hard to get to room, because it is hard, because it's tucked away behind this staircase, and using whatever insights I could, this is what I could come up with, because it's hard to wire it in there, hard to connect it, so you had to do two door panels. But what I did is, on this side I hid that other side of the door, and that's actually where the batteries for this light kit I have. This light kit in this room is not part of that whole dollar store equation. These are two 3D pieces I picked up from Joe Fest that I needed, that I just wanted. This was actually a smaller scale computer panel that I picked up, and when you pull it off, there's my RC lighting that I've had for about 2 years now, and never knew what to do with. And that's illuminating two red lights in the room, one up there and one in that window that I said I'm not manipulating well, behind some cut up rubber grating. Yeah, you can see those ceiling tiles again, the fake marble. That's also helping give it the black feel for it. And I haven't done any more painting on that thing. That other 3D printed part is that big pipe system of the back wall, right? So I pictured this as a bat charging station, but in a secure room, because bats kill everything they come out. I do have a piece of wood set aside to cover up that fronting for the LOL piece. Just as I have patches for pieces of floor and ceiling that I'm missing, that Destro's picking up now on and being a critical dickhead about. But you'll see that if you go upstairs, that you can see that I'll be doing some patchwork, Mr. Impatient Nelly. So up the elevator he'll go, and he'll take us over to that second floor. Again, I haven't come up with any other way to really do anything about that. But there you go. Look down. There's a patch, and you can see where I missed one brick. So yeah, this is where the whole thing becomes uneven. It's got this single room sitting on top, and there's a helipad atop of that. But I decided that this was going to be some kind of like a flight reception area, or just a reception area. I'd have somebody sitting behind the desk of the computer. We'd have some meaningless maps on the back wall, and a little hole that was guided up there, already part of the model or the kit before, where I could put in some lighting. I built some artificial walls, a desk, some pillars, threw in some big pipes because I had those kicking around from a thrift store find, and I thought, well, if the McCullen clan had anything, they probably had a bagpipe, see? Anyways, yeah, I haven't decided who quite sits behind that desk, but it seems to be a place I prefer to have my Twilight Guard, as I only have the one of them. but I put in some of that marble countertop, which is the same fake marble sheet that I've been using on a lot of the flooring. But it's hard to get the camera in there. And then a Buzz Lightyear computer that I picked up on another find. Got this little chair, gave it a quick little paint, and threw a piece of rubberized kite felt over it. And that is glued down so that I can sit a character in there. More wood ceilings. And the bagpipes do come off. It's just a little clamp in there. And there's that marble tile, right? So that will take us from there. And right now, I think Destro is going to turn the lights off, sit behind the desk, and think about what's outside. He's dreaming about getting some outdoor space, you know. But when we first started this, we didn't know what we were going to do about landing pads and how to work the uneven detail. But you know, Destro is getting depressed. And I thought about all the times I watched Game of Thrones and things like He-Man, who everything that good happened in a castle. But at some point, somebody's got to do something from a balcony. So I decided a power balcony was in order. Gave somewhere for the stairs to go. Gave me a place to, you know, stash away broken pieces of glass that had come off the structure. And I didn't like where they were to begin with. And there's some of the other materials you've been seeing. A couple of dollar store plants to kind of feel it up. All like with like a garden. There's that beam area I got to cover up. But yeah, I thought this led to a certain type of vibe to the whole castle thing. And you know, you're seeing structural videos of me putting it all together throughout this video. I was showing little hints of it, so I look at it as my perfect spot to kind of end the second part of the video with that transition space that takes us from the finished interior rooms to the exterior, where I'm going to go on to do the outer walls and the helipad, which has already started, and you'll see that towards the end of the video. This is where we started, and this is how we were kind of going, as you can see. And like I said, these glass pieces were already fitted to this dollhouse, so I wanted to reuse them. Now it was about covering up, adding in that dollar store wiring and covering things up there. So now we're at the end of that tour. We're going to deal with the helipad as we pan out and show you just kind of where it's starting. As per the comments, could I store a dragonfly on there? You'll see. And now, thanks to that, that's exactly what we're going to do, is keep it as a helipad, but reinforce it to be there for Cobra, there for Joe, there for whatever. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing this video with me. What you're going to get next is, you know, some behind-the-scenes clips and pics to set the music, but also you're going to get the details on what the actual power word is that you'll need for this Saturday's live in order to be entered for those draws for those Energon Universe G.I. Joe number 1, 2, and 3 comics, or the Cobra Commander Once a Man and number 1 issue set. You'll need this power word, so you might want to stick around or hear about those contest details. But thanks very much. I hope you guys enjoyed my part 2 of Silent Castle. Part 3 is already underway as we finish off with some imagery, and maybe stick around to see some of that. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you soon. Well, if you can see just above my shoulder here, you can see I've got my collection of G.I. Joe from the Energon universe, numbers 1, 2, and 3 up there, because I'm very proud of having gotten some of those variant covers, and they look nice together. But that's to remind me also to get around to giving these things away, which is part of my thank you for the 500 subscribers that I got a while back. And we are now on the cusp of 600, and I was slow to get to it. So this video that you are watching right now, Destro's Castle Build Part 2, whatever I've decided to title it, whilst I've been working on it, I made sure to remind myself to tell you guys how to win the prizes for the live that I will be doing a giveaway for. Okay, so what you'll need to remember is just this hashtag, all right? And I'll put it up on the screen as we go this. Remember to put this up on the screen. God, I hope I remember to put this up on the screen during the editing. Hashtag by the power of Destro. Okay, yeah, I'm doing a Masters of the Universe nod just to the fact that Destro's Castle, it's just a castle. I wanted it to be Silent Castle from the comics, but it's turning into just a castle. But it's a fun castle to build. It's a Game of Thrones, it's a Master of Universe, it's a AWOC, it's whatever I want it to be. I can even make this for the 40K stuff and get away with it. So it's been a lot of fun, but that's going to be your entry. So write that down somewhere when I do the live on Saturday, February 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the time I have set aside for that live. That phrase, hashtag by the power of Destro, will be what you have to know to enter. All right, and that'll be it. And so what are you going to win at 5 p.m. on February 8th Eastern, because I'm a Canuck? You're going to win some comics, and one of you is going to win a comic and a fig. All right, so the first prize package somebody's going to win is G.I. Joe Energon Universes issues 1, 2, and 3. That one will have a nice foil cover to it, and then the 2 and 3 are the standard editions. Okay. Another person will win the same prize without the foil package. Sorry, guys. 1, 2, and 3 again, but with different covers for the issue 3 from what's normal, I think. Either way, just some fun reads, all right? And then one more of you is going to win the Cobra Commander cover of G.I. Joe number 1. All right, but you're not getting 2 or 3 because you're going to get yourself a Coco in the box, Once a Man, Cobra Commander, and that'll be the prize package for the 500. So make sure you come back with hashtag by the power of Destro, February 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern. And of course, you also have to be subscribed to the channel. I'll ask you to like the videos, but that's not conditions, guys. That's just a passive thing. But you will have to be a sub to be able to claim that prize. And my gosh, I hope you guys will want that. Don't enter if you don't need those things, but if you do need those things, man, that's the contest for you. And again, thank you so much for everything you guys have done to support this channel. Much appreciated. Let's go back to the Destro build, okay? So there it is, guys. That's the interior and a bit more of my rendition of Silent Castle. Really, it's just a castle, like I keep saying, but I do try and Destro it up by the little ads of the heritage, or having the Iron Grenadier bats, have a room kind of thematically done up for them. I'm not gonna lie, there was some Game of Thrones inspired stuff. Everything deep in the plot happens in the garden somewhere or in a restful area, but also I was heavily swayed by the comments that I got on part 1 when somebody asked if I was going to add the McClellan banners, or if my dragonfly was going to be displayed on this. So in part 3, which will eventually come, you will see what ended up happening with the top part of this. I will also be addressing the elevator system and the siding, as well as the useless shelf that slides out of this. When flipped over, has depth and can serve purposes. Right now, it's holding all these nifty things. Like I said, guys, thanks very much for staying this long, and I hope that I hope somebody who needs these wins these prizes on the giveaway coming up this Saturday, 5 p.m. That's February 8th. That's Eastern time. Yeah, I'll be coming back to do a quick Saturday live with you guys at a new time, unique occasion. But I'm going to get back to finishing up all those things that I said I had to finish up with this thing. Just giving you one more look at the progress that was made with this. Pretty proud of it. And then I'm going to go do some reviews. Why? Because I have a good buddy in down South 77, 3-star draw. If you're not subscribed to his channel by now, what's wrong? Get over there and get subscribed. Buddy of mine gifted me something really special for Christmas. Including a His Tactician number 100 in the line. I'm going to be doing a tactical perspective on that, as well as the Shadow Tracker number 108. So we're going to go back into the catalog, and I'm going to do a tactical perspective on these two figures. But also, guys, I did finally get my leather neck just today, so we'll be doing a comparison as a tactical perspective. Because I am so smitten with the dial tone figure, I'll also, have him in the background as I do my tactical perspective on Leatherneck. So you can look forward to that very soon. And like I said, a part 3 on the Destro's Castle. That will be probably after the live coming up this Saturday at some point in the line. I'm not putting any pressure on myself as to how to complete this. I'm just thought I'd throw this video together to show you how I completed this. Whether you like it or not is not the point anymore. But hey, if you did like this video, remember, like, share, subscribe. Really help me grow the channel, and I appreciate all of them. Welcome new subscribers. Thank you, old subscribers. I have been Crusty Old Crow, Destro's Castle Part 2. See you next time.